Welcome, welcome. It's Lisa Berkovitz here, your host and creator of the On God's Payroll event. And I'm so excited to welcome you to this session with me, which I have called Your Unique Soul Frequency. Discover what it is, why it matters, and how it radically aligns your reality. Super excited about this topic. And also for our meditative experience, I want this to be experiential, embodied, something that serves you and actually that you feel, not just information that you receive, but we are gonna go over some context. So as I say every time at the beginning of a session, make sure your pen and paper are handy, that your notifications are off, or your phone's on airplane mode if you're not using it right now, or tabs are closed if you're on a desktop. Whatever you need to create this time and space for you and your deepest self, your highest self, your soul, and your highest truth. This is a sacred space. So welcome, welcome. I hope you also have some water with you, keep you hydrated. And I'd love to start with some context. I keep saying at the start of our sessions that this is a global party, and I really do see it that way. It really is this celebration of it being our birthright to thrive at what we love, but also a celebration of the uniqueness of you, of me, of everybody at the core level, just how unique we each are, and that we get to step into the heart of why we're here, why we came, why we were divinely designed the way we are. And so I created this session to support you in opening up your connection with your soul's guidance, and also specifically your soul's frequency, so that you can hear or recognize and trust and act on what is most true and aligned for you, so you can fulfill the reason that you're here and thrive at that. And that is the work that I do on the planet. That's the work I do with executives and entrepreneurs to fulfill their soul's work according to their soul's blueprint. All the spaces I hold are designed to help hear, trust, and act on the soul's truth and guidance. Because my great joy is, I want to help make your soul visible. And I believe that's why we're here. So the tagline in my business has been for years, let soul lead. So that's really, that's our focus today, but it's also the through line for all of my work. And it's a noisy time on the planet. So the importance and the power of knowing your unique frequency is because of this noise, and we have so much competing for our attention at all times. It's accelerated, it's intensified. And you have your piece of the divine plan that's meant to come through you, solutions that are meant to come through you, new ways of being and offering. And so you can't fulfill that. You can't fulfill your soul's purpose if you can't hear your soul. And so how do you hear your soul more of the time? And that's why, for me, what I'm offering here to you is the idea that it's invaluable to strengthen your ability to focus on your divine connection in the midst of the noise, to stabilize in that frequency, to embody that frequency. And that's what we're going to be doing here together today. So it'll be a potent boost to your soul path if you allow it to be. So just set that intention that you receive in the maximum way here. So let's talk about just, again, context. I want to focus your attention here on energy first. We can get so caught in the physical world, in physical reality, but literally everything is energy, including you. And so speaking to the quantum nature of reality, so let's start like really, really far out, wide out, zooming way out. if you look at the quantum nature of reality, which science has demonstrated, every potential, every reality, every timeline already exists. But we're not creating anything. It already exists. And how we navigate through infinite potentials and realities is through frequency. The frequency that we hold, that we emanate, is the one that ultimately is reflected back in the mirror of our external reality. We end up navigating to a place that is a match to among all the options, all the potentials. Nothing is as solid as it seems. And so I would say, just going back a ways, I've always loved to know how things work. And before I did my graduate work in business and did the MBA, I was in pre-med sciences in my undergrad. And when I was studying physics, and any math related courses, I was always the one deriving the formulas from first principle that most other students were, studying just to what they needed to know to do well on the exam. But I really wanted to know how things worked from the ground up. And so it always took me longer, but I was fascinated. And so in a similar way, I've been fascinated with knowing how reality is created. It's a topic I've been studying, for many years since I left my corporate life. And it's taken me down the path of spirituality and where spirituality intersects with science, and also where these topics intersect with business and leadership and how to make practical business decisions in harmony with the laws of nature and the laws of the universe. And so that's one of them, that we're not actually creating anything. Since every potential already exists, the one that appears in front of you is reflection of the particular combination of thoughts and feelings and beliefs that you've held before now. And so for me, the cool thing about knowing that all realities exist simultaneously is that I love the idea that it allows us to leave the matrix, so to speak, right? We talk about the matrix. For me, it means being no longer bound by believing in the solidity and the continuity of this particular reality, and that it's possible to quantum leap to an alternate reality or timeline that you prefer. It's all available now. It's fluid. And so bringing it down to the personal level, knowing nothing in reality is as solid as it seems, then the most efficient way to experience any kind of shift is by focusing at the level of energy, attuning at the level of energy. And I would add, we all come from one unified source, right? God, source, all that is, quantum field, whatever you want to call it. That field of unity expresses uniquely through each of us. And your soul is a precise frequency unlike any other, like a snowflake, like a fingerprint, all completely unique, and that you came to be that frequency expressed through this body. That is the all being you in a highly unique way. And so you're here, the way I see it, what I've practiced and noticed is you're here to be an energy for the planet that no one else can be. And I refer to that frequency as your soul frequency or your home frequency. So this introduces the idea that downloaded to me years ago one day, the idea of vibrational precision. So knowing and embodying your home frequency, your soul frequency with vibrational precision is the key to bringing your soul into form and aligning with all that's right for you. That's the basic physics of it, right? It's a beautiful thing to be able to recognize what it feels like, what energy you're here to be, what it feels like to be that energy, and to share it with the world. And people can feel your energy, but then they also can see the fruit of your energy expressing in form. We're here to make your soul visible, as I said before. So as you embody this frequency more and more, you align yourself with receiving everything that's a match to that. And the clarity, the guidance, the opportunities, the divine solutions that are literally all here all the time, available. But you have to be a frequency match for them to actually be visible to you. That's the physics of it. And most of us are not our precise soul frequency because it's been muddied up by other energies accumulated through our life experience, our conditioning, our various fears, ego-based desires, things we think we should want or do, protective mechanisms, personal circumstances, collective circumstances, right? There's just so many things. There's noise in our personal energy field too. So that's where, again, you may know this already, right? Some even have done work with me on this. So I would listen again with this idea of beginner's mind. There is still noise that can be interfering with the signal. Most of the people that I work with have been on the path a long time, and they know these things, but there's something so interesting that happens the further along you go on your path, that the noise can become louder as older and deeper mechanisms arise from within that are very root, very, very core to separation consciousness. So the more awake you become, the closer to the fulfillment of the heart of why you're here. Sometimes the louder and more challenging are the things that can come to the surface to be resolved. And that's organic. It's meant to be that way, but it can be super challenging, right? So when you know your precise soul frequency and you strengthen your ability to embody it and share it out, you quiet the noise, your discernment becomes higher, and you accelerate on your soul's highest path. So this session here is about practicing strengthening your ability to feel and be your unique soul frequency, your home frequency. And this is another term that came to me years ago, introducing the idea of strengthening your vibrational muscle, the ability to come back to the truth of who you are over and over and over again, and doing business differently with greater ease and joy and flow and divine support and abundance means energy first and letting your frequency bring to you everything that's in alignment automatically. I'm gonna explain a little bit more, go deeper into this, but I do also want to say that you will naturally and organically radiate your soul frequency purely as a result of you dissolving the distortions created by human conditioning you've inherited. So when those dissolve, it's like a light bulb covered in some kind of dirt or debris, right? You clean the dirt, the light's always been shining there underneath, right? So that we're going to talk about that more. Actually, one of the free gifts, I'll share a little bit more about that later, but one of my free gifts is actually a live call next week interactive with me on November 20th. And I'm going to speak more to that. But this session is about your unique soul frequency and having an experience of that. So anyway, I'll speak to the session more again at the end. But knowing everything, having given everything that I've said already, back to the idea of just knowing your soul frequency. The question is, what is your baseline frequency on a day-to-day basis? Which I could ask the same thing a different way. How do you normally feel day to day? Because that feeling is a frequency, and that's what you're broadcasting. And for most of us, it's a mix of frequencies. Right? So my intent here is to raise your awareness of your soul frequency so that you can normalize it, and how often you actually feel like that, realizing how often am I really feeling like that, so that you can notice when things that are arising that are not that. So it becomes a really great discernment. This feels like me. This isn't the heart, the essence of who I am, right? So you can change the experience you're having and the reality you're living by practicing vibrational precision. So, in the context of fulfilling your soul work, you will naturally allow the next level of your mission, your purpose, your leadership to flow in as you dial in to the radio station. It's another metaphor of your soul. Like a radio, you might have heard this metaphor before. A radio is streaming all kinds of channels all at the same time, right? So you could be dialed into a station that's playing rock and roll. And if you want to turn the dial because you prefer to listen to classical, great. You turn the dial, you tune into classical. Now that's what's streaming in. But rock and roll is still playing. You just don't hear it anymore, right? You're not dialed in there. And then there's a country music station and all the other musical genres, right? Everything is available. So this really is about encouraging, inspiring, supporting you, showing you how to more precisely dial into the radio station that is yours and yours alone, so that that which is written in your soul's blueprint, that which is resonant, that which is a match to your soul, can just drop in. Then you know what next step to take. You know the opportunities can show up out of the blue, even because you're streaming differently, right? You are another term that came to me. You are a frequency holder beyond this body. You know, you were a soul before coming into this body. You will be that soul after leaving this body. And of course, there is no linear times. It is all simultaneous, right? We're here playing a game. Forgetting temporarily who we are. And as we remember, you're here to remember your essence and bring that frequency into form, right? And remembering can be quite the journey. And lots of people tell us what we should and shouldn't be doing, and whether what we're doing is right or not. But your fundamental purpose is to realize and enjoy and express being the unique spark of the divine that you are, that is literally life expressing as you in a way no one else can. And when you do that, you gift others in turn, right? Your soul, your frequency expresses through your life's work and your business in the way that you serve others. It infuses what you do and how you engage and interact with the people that you serve, right? So you're not just a frequency being expressed, you're also a frequency holder for your people. And I'll give you some couple of practical examples. One is the story of my chiropractor, because he is super unique. He powerfully expresses his soul frequency through his practice. He has his own system of using the patient's body to test the optimal order in which to make his chiropractic adjustments, right? It's beyond kinesiology. He has his own channeled system. And he also uses sound, he uses light, he uses tuning forks, he uses manual manipulation, certain cranial techniques, essential oils. He has a whole range of things that he uniquely combines to make him a chiropractor unlike any other. Like, he's also super fun loving and irreverent. Shout out to Dr. Scott. And not everybody will be drawn to him, right? But he's a frequency holder for those who are. And it's not just the physical doing. Everything he does as a chiropractor, he infuses his service with his frequency, but he's also just being it. There's a transmission that, is an activation when I go to have my adjustment with him, right? And there's a bazillion chiropractors, but not like him. And the ones that are drawn to him are drawn to him. Same just for me in my business, the way that I work. Lots of other people do soul work, support others in their soul work and leadership, but not in the way that I uniquely do. The ones drawn to me are, freedom loving, fun loving, system busting, irreverent, spiritually devoted, love being in a body, enjoy the pleasures of life to the fullest. Like, just to name a few, there's a certain flavor to the work I do and to the ones who are drawn to me, who are also a match. And so there's a transmission. Like, it's not a coincidence. I'm not for everybody, right? And I shouldn't be. I'm a frequency holder for thriving at what you love and living by the motto I've been saying for so many years: how good can you stand it? Right? That's it. There's a certain frequency to that. And so you too have a precise soul frequency, and you are a frequency holder for others in a specific way. And it's what you emanate. Your right people are drawn to that. It's infused into everything that you offer, how you do what you do, how it's meant to be, right? When we're true to that, boom, like, that's a whole other level of service. And so I also want to say one other thing about this before we go into the meditation. There are, as I said at the start about the quantum nature of reality, infinite timelines, right? There's a quantum soup. There's infinite timelines here. And I look at, there's been over the years lots of law of attraction teachings and law of attraction teachers, and a lot will teach about, deciding what you want and then feeling the feeling of having it. And so, you want a house. Okay, imagine yourself what it feels like to be in that house. And then if you want that relationship, love of your life, oh, what is it going to feel like to be in that relationship? And same with anything, right? Having a certain amount of money, being in great health, whatever it is, right? There's been that kind of way of teaching. And as I received this knowing, this insight, this way of navigating through soul frequency, what occurred to me was the through line for all of the things that you would love to experience is always your frequency. We are here to fulfill, to experience ourselves, the fullness of our true selves through those different ways. You don't want to live in a house that doesn't feel like you. You want to live in a house that feels like you, in a relationship that feels right for you, where you get to be fully yourself, in a business where you get to feel like you, where abundance flows for being you. So the common denominator through all of it is you being the fullness of your frequency. And so simply by knowing and embodying your frequency, all the rest can take care of itself. It's much more simple. All that is right and aligned for you will be obvious. It will be drawn to you. You will recognize this is for me, this is not for me, because it matches my frequency or it doesn't match my frequency. There's still going to be lots of stuff showing up, different kinds of stuff, but you're going to have a different level of discernment and distinction knowing your frequency, and a different point of magnetism. So I can't imagine a more important time to know what your frequency is and to strengthen it, to strengthen your ability to embody it and make choices as it, right? Because that frequency in the infinite number of timelines that exist, there is a timeline where your soul frequency is fully expressed as that version of you in every detail and area of your life, your soul work, your leadership, your abundance, your health, your home, your relationships, everything looks on that timeline like your heaven on earth. And so as you embody your frequency, you become a direct match for that. You're navigating the soup of infinite realities to see materialization of more and more and more of that which matches your heaven on earth. So realize nothing is solid. And when you're really willing to be that, when you know that frequency, when you embody that frequency, when you choose from that frequency, all of reality can rearrange around you. So, and then, also as things continue to crumble out in the world, as you stabilize yourself in your unique frequency, as you can hold it more and more of the time, regardless of what's going on, regardless of apparent interference, then we create an entirely new reality out of that. Let the old die, let the old crumble, because the new is coming, streaming through you and coming into form. You and everyone else who has made this kind of a commitment. You draw your power back to you, to the truth of how your reality is really created from the inside out. And you can know, like you know, it is law. And you must see more and more of that mirrored back to you. So let's go into our meditation so that you can have an experience of this, making yourself comfortable, ensuring your body is in a position that feels good, sitting up, lying down, closing your eyes when you're ready, taking a slow, nourishing breath from the very bottom to the very top of your lungs. Exhaling when you're ready. Softening your shoulders, your neck, your scalp and your skull. Your brain can relax. Relaxing down through the upper chest, mid chest, heart center, front and back. Down through your lower part of your torso. Relaxing through the arms. Down through the legs. Just a general, I'm softening here. You can scan through with your inner eyes and just see what you notice, if you're aware of any sensations through the body. Letting them be what they are, nothing to fix, nothing to change. You're just relaxing into whatever is here. Maybe you notice places where the energy is flowing well. You can perceive open flowing areas of energy inside your system. Maybe there's areas that are blank. You can't perceive anything there. That's okay too. Just bringing that full presence to exactly what is right now in your body. Gifting yourself your own full presence, which is unconditional love, which is a medicine unto itself. I do say presence is medicine. And as you tuned in physically, you can also observe the mind with your inner eyes, just noticing the mind, the momentum of the mind. It does have momentum. It doesn't need to stop. You can just watch as it chatters and comments and maybe has objections, complaints, criticisms, all okay. You're not caught in it the same way as you observe, giving room to all of it. And just noticing how you feel, your dominant feeling in this moment. So you're giving space and welcoming to all levels of your being, whatever's happening physically, whatever's happening mentally, whatever is happening emotionally, all allowed here. And you can just affirm inside yourself that you call all of your energy back from every person, place, and situation, and every time, space, and dimension. So you have a sense that your energy field is unifying in this moment. Your mind scatters energy, attention, and awareness down the timeline of the past and out into the imagined future. So you're just calling it back. So you just have this sense of you're all here in this moment with fullest access to all that's here for you, which is literally everything. And you can ground, drop a grounding column from the base of your spine down through the floor, down into the earth, down through the layers of the earth swiftly and easily till it reaches a place at the center where it can connect in or wrap around. And you can just let the magnetic pull of Mother Earth draw away all energies that you're complete with and that you've picked up from others, holding their energy in your field. And now you can just let that fall away into the earth for recycling. So there's a sense of being held and loved and supported by the earth. And also a more spacious and open feeling in your field as things just fall away that you don't need anymore. Lots can fall away here. And now I'll invite you to simply allow yourself to become aware of a time and place you felt most like yourself. A time and place where you felt a kind of joy or aliveness, where you just felt, this is me. Noticing what comes to your awareness. This is not about leaving the present moment. It's simply about recognizing that there have been times and places. Maybe you receive one, maybe you receive more than one, where you have felt so fully like yourself. And it could be a past memory or memories, but it could also be a future one, what seems to be a future one. Seeing yourself in a particular setting, knowing that's who you're becoming. Nothing to reach for here. This is not a mental exercise. This is a receptivity. And as you become aware of some time and place, you can just see what you see in your mind's eye, feel what you feel, hear what you hear. And it might be a place that you love, that you notice you're experiencing, or doing a particular activity you love, where you lose track of time. Or it could be with one or more people you love who really see and appreciate you for the real you. And enjoying that, letting that feeling of being you nourish you from the inside out. This is the frequency you came to be for the planet. The frequency of your soul. This is the frequency you came to make visible. And this is you dialed into your unique radio station, where everything streams as a match to you. Which connects you immediately with your highest guidance, your soul blueprint, your highest timeline. And as you're aware of this feeling of being you, of your own frequency, you might become aware of a few words to describe it. In my experience, it usually is a few words in combination that gives a full enough picture into the feeling. And words can fall short sometimes, and it doesn't have to be words. It could be colors or some other way your frequency could be represented, described, so to speak. And I would invite you, if you have a few words, for example, free, joyful, light, expansive, grounded. How would you describe this feeling? The qualities of your soul. And if it's not in words and it's in some other way, what are the ways that come to you that you can relate to it. It's introducing itself to you in a new way, even if you've done this before with me. This moment is fresh, and you're here recognizing what is most important for you in this moment to receive. And as you're dialed in here, realizing that this attunement connects you immediately to that highest timeline that is this frequency, where there is a version of you fully soul expressed in every detail of your life. You could call that your highest self, your soul self, your future self. It doesn't matter. This is a symbol of the aspect of you that knows what's true for you, that knows your path. That has the answers to every question. You could say this is your highest, wisest guide. And maybe you're becoming aware of them now, coming towards you. Might look like a version of you, or it might come to you another way. An animal, symbol, some kind of image. So just trust your own system showing you what's true for you. Again, it's nothing to reach for. This is a receptivity as you feel the feeling of who you really are. Let this highest, wisest guide, this aspect of you, come right up close. Notice how they appear, how they look, if it's a version of you, how are they dressed? How do they appear to you? You can connect through the eyes, through the heart. Let them be like a tuning fork for you. Sense and feel the strength of the frequency they emanate, which is you, the embodiment of them. When you're ready, you can open to receive a message. Whatever is meant for you in this moment, in words, images, symbols, or feelings. Could be about anything as a greeting, as a first place to start. Trusting what you get. And you can also now allow yourself to receive what you would be most benefited to know for your highest good about your soul work and leadership. Maybe it's a vision. Maybe it's a confirmation. Maybe it's a next step. Trusting what's come. You've now opened this channel, this connection, this awareness. You're a multi-dimensional being, and your guidance is available at all times. Your access to it is through frequency. And so saying thank you for what you've received. And knowing that with this channel open, you can always come and ask for more guidance, reassurance. Just sit, remember who you are in your frequency, letting your wisdom flow naturally. Saying thank you, thank you, thank you. Taking a nice breath. Gently moving fingers and toes. Maybe a gentle twist or stretch. And when you're ready, slowly opening your eyes. If there's anything to note down, you can capture that if you didn't write it already as you went along. And know that what you've experienced here actually has rearranged the fabric of your reality, because when you shift your energy, you quantumly navigate in a new way. So even things can look the same temporarily. The more you practice being in your frequency, the more the mirror will show you the match. And that's the trickiest thing about this journey, is when we are seeing physical examples of the old coming in front of our physical eyes, to hold the frequency, to remember who we are. And the first step is, well, know what frequency that is. Strengthen it, normalize it, give it attention. What we focus on grows. Doesn't have to be hard. Great. And so I'm going to share a little bit. When I started to practice this many moons ago, when I tuned into my memories, they haven't changed after all these years. I had two main memories that came to me. One was when in the first year after I left my corporate job, I went on an epic trip to New Zealand and Australia. And I was on a sailing, went on a day trip to an island resort. I had to take a little seaplane to get there for the day. And there was this beautiful opportunity to have, they had a garden there, and they cooked all their food from the garden. And part of the day pass was to use any of their water sport equipment. They had all kinds of different things, but I took out a little catamaran, little catamaran, like for one person. And I remember just whipping across this bay that they had. So it was sort of a protected bay, but it was a super perfect wind kind of day, sunny, blue sky, really warm salt water, like perfect, my kind, sort of bath water. I love warm salt water. And I was just flying across this bay, back and forth, like just shouting, like woohoo at the top of my lungs, because I was recently sprung free from, the fluorescent lights of my corporate job. And that feeling, there was a feeling of my own soul that came to me in that memory. And the same, I had another one come to me being in London, which is one of my soul's homes. Just walking. I used to do 6, 7, 8 hour walks And that was the memory that came to me at the time through the city and exploring and finding different things that I loved. And those two memories had the exact same feeling. And I've done this with countless people now. Everyone knows what their soul frequency is. Everyone. I haven't come across an exception yet. And that distinction is so, so key. So for me, knowing that frequency and I even measured it with a heart math sensor, like my heart coherence would go through the roof as I tuned in to that frequency, that feeling of me. I tested it quite a lot. And I named my frequency ecstatic, expansive freedom, because that's what it feels like to me. And so I would really encourage you, play with these memories, get to know, do this journey again. It creates new neural pathways to reinforce the feeling of who you really are. And it became so much easier with such a simple practice. And it became so much easier to recognize who I am and hold that frequency, even in difficult situations. And name it. Give yourself a few words, or if there was a different way that you recognized or identified your own frequency with colors or some other way, because I've had that before with others. Name it, get familiar with it, tune in there. So know that it's profound what you've just experienced. It is an activation. It does reorganize reality around you. And if you practice as a simple practice, you can normalize what it feels like to be your unique expression of the divine and stay more easily tuned into your radio station. So all that matches can stream into your awareness automatically and into your experience automatically, making your soul more and more visible with each embodied step you take. And I would say you can also play with this by choosing music that feels like that reinforces that, or outfits, dress in outfits that reinforce that. Declutter from things that don't feel like that, right? This is vibrational precision, strengthening the truth of who you are at the energetic level, at the frequency level. So my wish is that this has served you powerfully. This is a distinction that you can continue to strengthen and play with. And if you want to go deeper, play more in frequency, then I want to mention it again, my free gift, my first of two free gifts is a live call happening next week on November the 20th. That's a Wednesday, called Vibrational Leadership, Mastering the Two Frequencies That Allow You to Permanently Exit the Matrix and Live on God's Payroll. So this soul frequency is one piece of it, and we're going to go deeper. And there is another element to it as well. We're going to be diving into some really juicy stuff. So I invite you to join me for that free gift, Wednesday, the 20th. All the details are right below on this page. It's at 10 Pacific, 1 Eastern, 6 UK. The Zoom link is right there. So you can put it right in your calendar, and you will receive reminders as well. And of course, I have a second free gift too that you'll see right below that. Your chance to win one of 3 private one-on-one soul attunement sessions with me. And you can read about that. Applications close end of the day, November 17th. And winners will be contacted by end of day, November 22nd. So if that resonates for you, I invite you to apply for that. And thank you, thank you, thank you for being here with me. Enjoy more of the interviews that are here for you, and just knowing every session is the perfect transmission. Take what resonates, leave the rest. And thank you again for being here, being on this journey together. And I'm sending you so much love.